So Luffy and the Straw Hats are off to the New World, and they end up on Punk Hazard Island. And things just get crazy. Let's talk about One Piece. Because I just want to get to Law, to be honest. But we have to finish Volume 66. So, here we go. While the Straw Hats are going to the New World, they get a distress call. And it's basically saying that someone needs help on Punk Hazard Island. But what they don't know is Smoker is also following the Straw Hats. And even he's like, they wouldn't go there, that's crazy. Because this island, you know, it has hazard in the name. So, obviously, something has happened on that island. I was not expecting what I found out actually happened on that island. It is so cool. Man! So when the Straw Hats get there, they draw to see who could be the search party. Obviously, it ends up being Luffy, Zoro, Robin, and Usopp. One of these people is not as excited as the other three. I'll let you figure out who that was. I'm going to tell you right, it was Usopp. He was like leaning out of the boat, and he was like, hey, does anybody want to switch with me? Listen, does anybody want to switch with me? Like, anybody. Honestly, anyone. I don't want to do this. And when they get there, things are getting so weird. Like, they find a dragon, and then Luffy pulls half a body out of a rock, and it just runs off. And then, at the end of the volume, the Straw Hats that are on the ship, on the Thousand Sunny, just get knocked out by, like, people wearing hazmat? I'm guessing they're people? They might not be. I will say, because it was only like 2 or 3 chapters before the end of the volume since the last review. This volume did an incredible job in the last 2 or 3 chapters to build up, like what is going on this island? Like, they have fought a dragon, there's half a body running off. It has built up suspense of, like, what is happening? And it did a fantastic job where you're like, okay, well, I'm immediately going to read volume 67. Which is exactly what I did. I did not understand this cover until I read this volume. And it says so much. Oh, this is a great volume. The opening of this volume, we were with the Straw Hats that got captured on the Thousand Sunny. We find out that Brook is not with them. But what is with them is separated pieces of a head. A samurai head. A samurai from Wano, which Sanji lets us know. I don't know much. I do know Wano means something. I'll be honest with you, the reason that I know Wano is a thing is because when I was putting the volumes on the shelf, I think like volume 90, it switches from New World to Wano. So I'm guessing this samurai is a big deal in the story coming up. Apparently for a long time, because it's like 23 volumes from now. But that's all I know about Wano. It's the next arc, I guess. Maybe. But not only that, once they assemble the head and take it with them, they find out a bunch of kids are being kidnapped in this, like, science laboratory. And obviously, Nami is like, we can't leave them behind. Did I mention that some of these kids are gigantic? This arc is off to a wild start. And it just gets more wild. And one of the coolest things we found out about this Punk Hazard Island was it was actually a regular island for a while, but then 2 people had a battle, which made half the island blazing hot and the other half freezing cold. And it was Akainu and Aokiji. I'm telling you this right now, between us. If we do not see this battle, we saw, I think, a little bit of it before. I want to see this full thing. This, I know, I always talk about, like, oh, I'm going to watch the anime. I am. I might sneak and watch some clips of the anime. If this battle is in the anime, I might do that. That might be a thing that has to happen, because this sounds incredible. They turned an island that was regular, half hot, half cold now. And we find out what happens to Brook. He's made his way onto the island, and he is fighting the chest of the samurai, which, if we don't remember, Sanji has the head, Luffy has the legs, and he thinks he's a centaur. And Brook is fighting the chest. This arc is wild. Like, it's so wild. And who else is on the island is Law, Trafalgar Law, who's a warlord now. Like, that has to be new information, because I would have remembered something like that. And when I read it, I was like, he has been busy for these last 2 years. And I think he's a bad guy. Well, let me explain. So this is why I think he's a bad guy. So Nami and all of them break out the kids, and he's at the castle entrance, which Smoker and them have made it, and he's kind of fighting the Navy. But it makes it seem like it was his castle. I mean, I get it. Like, listen, I understand it. They're called, like, the Worst Generation, which is such a cool name for, like, Luffy, Law, Kid, Hawkins, all those people from Archipelago. They have now been called the Worst Generation because they are in the middle of the old age stopping and the new age beginning. Like, it's such a good name. And we also get to see Law use his powers. And his powers, this man is too powerful. Like, we saw a little bit of it before the time skip, but now he is wiping the floor with people, especially when we get to the Yeti Bros. He destroys the Yeti Bros. So everyone, all the Straw Hats, the Marines are there, Law's there, and this is why I think he might not be he is a very confusing character right now for me. But I do like how Luffy sees him. He's like, hey man, you helped me out. Like, 'cause that's the thing. Law helped Luffy out from the Paramount War and all that. Like, Luffy wouldn't be here. I would have that argument. I would have that argument that Luffy would not be here if Law did not intervene. Let me know down below if you think the same thing. That's your kind of question for this video. Because I would have that discussion. Does Luffy make it out of the Paramount War if Law does intervene? I don't think so. So see, I thought he was a good guy. But he's at this castle, which we found out is ran by Master Caesar Clwon, which is... he's basically the reason that the island was toxic. He basically was like this mad scientist kind of thing. He looks very... let's see if... I'm going to find a picture of him from the manga. He looks strange. Something has happened to that man. He's different. He's built different. But when Luffy sees him, he's like, oh, he helps us out, we're friends. And he calls him Traffy. It's such a good nickname. Traffy? And Law points at me, he's like, oh, what you're looking for is behind the castle. Which is where the other Straw Hats are. Not in their own bodies. They have switched bodies now. Which is some of the best comedy that One Piece has ever done. Ever. Seriously, when the Straw Hats are switched bodies, this is some of the best comedy One Piece has ever done. And Sanji being in Nami's body, yes, low-hanging fruit, I get that. But it's still great. It's still really funny. So we have Sanji in Nami's body. We have Frankie in Chopper's body. Which, the art on Chopper when Frankie is in his body, Oda, well done. Again, we already know you're a genius, like, it's not surprising, but super well done. Like, he draws him differently. It's such, like, a little thing, but it works so well. Nami is in Frankie's body, which was a choice. Like, I was not expecting that. Sanji and Nami's body you kind of expected, you know what I mean? But that was a good switch. Tashigi is in Smoker's body, and Smoker's is in her body. And the way he's sitting, she's like, hey, can you... like, button up my shirt? I still don't know how they switch bodies. I might have missed it by the end of this volume. I'm still not sure how this happened. It is very confusing. Like, they left the castle, different bodies. Did Law do it? Is that why he was taking people's, like, heart? And so, like, he has Smoker's heart just in a box. This man's literally just walking around with a box with Smoker's heart in it. It's, again... that's a bad guy move. This is another point in the bad guy column for Law. Like, you don't just walk around with a man's heart in a box. And the other thing that we find out is kind of the reason that he's teamed up with Master Caesar. Well, teamed up, again, is a strong word. Because they kind of do a little flashback, and it's really Law being like, I can help you in certain aspects if you just let me roam free on this island. But he's aligned himself with a man that has basically been drugging kids. Because after they rescue him, these kids start being in pain. So he's been giving them candy. That's basically making them addicted to it. And they can't survive without it. So even if they come home, they can't have their candy. So they'll willingly come back to... I mean, that story beat is crazy that he fit this into One Piece. It's good. It's a great... It was such a left field choice. I was just shocked by it. But it's such a good story beat. And the other thing that I was like, another point in Law's bad guy column is he's with Master Caesar when he sends the Yeti Bros after Luffy. He's like, I got my guys. And these Yeti Bros, here's a photo. They are shadow, 18 feet tall assassins. So the Strawhats have Brownbeard tied up, and they're kind of trying to get information to be like, why are you poisoning the kid? You know, we got to help these kids. And he's like, no, not the master. The Yeti Bros come, and he's like, you've come to save me. He's like, nah. He said to kill you. He's like, what? No, maybe you misheard him or something. Like, no, kill you. And they destroy him. Just gone. Such just desserts. And then Luffy chases after him. And he does this cool move. So obviously we're slowly learning what Luffy has learned over the last 2 years, right? And this is a really exciting part for me. He does this focusing with his eye, and he basically is a balloon with bullets in him. And he goes, gum gum, firing salute. It's such a cool move. And then we end this volume because Luffy is still chasing after him because they still have Nami, Frankie. It's Nami in Frankie's body. Which he calls him that. Again, the comedy was on point in this volume. It made me laugh out loud multiple times. But he's chasing him. But then Law shows up and quickly defeats these people. Like, not even trying. He's just like, gone, and you're gone. Yeti Bros existed. They do not. It was crazy. So cool. And this is kind of how the volume ends. Law asks Luffy, form an alliance with me. I have a plan. To take down one of the 4 emperors. And again, it's kind of a good guy move, but it's kind of a move for himself. Because you know Luffy is strong. He's really forming this alliance just to take down one of the emperors. For himself. Doesn't make him a good guy. I don't trust him. I think he's awesome. I don't trust him. And not in like a Han Solo way. Like, I kind of think something's up with him. I could be completely wrong. I could watch this video in a year from now when I'm caught up and be like, you fool. Maybe. But I really think something's wrong. I don't trust him. I want to trust him. I want to love him. I just think he's awesome. But yeah, I think for an introduction volume of this new arc, it was incredible. It set up intrigue and set up this island, but its pacing was so quick and the action was so fun. I cannot wait to read volume 68. So yeah, I'll see you in a minute. These 3 on this cover, oh, this volume cranks up. This volume was so good. I feel like I start every volume for the last 7 volumes. This volume's so good. Seriously, One Piece has become amazing. It's legitimately, I think about it so much. It's a problem. One Piece has become a problem in my life. So we start pretty much with Chopper and Frankie switching back. But Nami having to go into Sanji's body. Because Sanji is off with Zoro and the samurai. I've said this before and I'll say it again. The ability to have comedic moments and then switch immediately to awesome action. It's something One Piece has excelled at for a while now. Some would say from the beginning, but I really think it has found its flow. And Luffy has decided to team up with Law. And the weird thing is, I don't know if it's been mentioned before, but I feel like this is the first time I'm hearing about it. So Law talks about hockey users. And when he does, Luffy's like, well, I can, Sanji and Zoro can. Has that been said before? That Sanji and Zoro can use hockey? Because I know Zoro commented when Luffy used hockey and wiped out those 50,000 men. If we have not forgotten about that, still very cool. But has it been explicitly stated that they could before this moment? I could not remember. But if you've watched any of my videos, I probably am wrong on this, and they probably have mentioned it before, I just have forgotten. Because, actually, funny thing, in the last video, I thought they killed Brownbeard. I didn't realize Brownbeard was alive until they all met back up at the laboratory at the end of this volume. I was like, oh my god, you're here as well? I am not even caught up, and rereading this series is a must. And with Brook, Zoro, and Sanji helping the samurai get his body back, a giant slime appears, which we find out is Smiley, the master's pet, that actually caused the toxification of the island 4 years ago. But when the samurai from Wano, Kimimon? It sounds like a Digimon. I don't think I'm pronouncing that right. And when he gets his body back, he has basically like a magma sword that can cut through anything. And I knew when I saw that, I was like, oh, Zoro's going to love this. And not that. He's going to rescue his son. And Zoro's like, well, we'll come with you. I'm very interested in your abilities. He's already like, this swordsman's pretty good. They need to spar. That would be cool. Law gets beat up by Vergo, and then they find out that this G5 Vice Admiral Captain has been working for this Joker fella for the last 15 years of his service, has all been part of this scheme. And he's basically been covering up the kid's kidnapping so that Master Caesar can experiment on this island. Smoker was not happy about this, and I understand it. He was like, you have disrespected the Navy, and there's one thing you don't do to Smoker, you disrespect his Navy. This man is a Navy man through and through. But we find out that this Joker that people have been talking about is actually Doflamingo, one of the 7 warlords of the sea. Listen, I'm not surprised he's into some shifty dealings. Have you seen this man? Like, we have met him multiple times at this point. I am not shocked at all. You trust a man with those sunglasses? He does have some style, though. So, you know, style points, but a horrible human being. One of the things I really did like is we finally find out why Law has been here and made these decisions, because even in the last part of this video I was talking about it, I didn't trust him. Seemed shifty. We find out that he made a deal with Caesar to basically be like, let me walk this island. And Caesar's like, that's fine. Give me your heart in a cube, and I'll give you the heart of Monty, my, like, trusted assistant. I don't feel like that was a fair deal, but he made that deal. I would not have made that deal. I'd be like, you know, a heart for a heart. So now while Luffy, Law, Nico Robin, Tashigi, and Smoker are all locked in this cage, Caesar basically does a big broadcast to kind of the black market. And that's when we see that Kid is also watching this. And he's basically being like, this is my biggest test. Because he's going to let Smiley get to the center of the island. And it looks like he eats a devil fruit. Like one of the panels looks like there was a devil fruit in the bag. And he turns into this giant smoke, which now everyone has to outrun. Even his own men. He's like, take the hazard suits off. You get no worries. He's killing his own men. As Zoro, Brook, Sanji in Nami's body, and the samurai are all booking it and trying to outrun this smoke. So then one of my favorite parts of this volume happens. We cut to Kid. He's with Killer. Hawkins is there. And Scratchman is there. And they're all talking about this alliance at, like, Kid's place. Because now they know. He was like, oh, Straw Hat, you're starting to move again. They know Luffy's back, and they know he's with Law, and they know Law has something up his sleeve, because they were like, we thought government dog. What are they planning? Because they're talking about an alliance. I wonder, okay, this is just a theory, because some of these, I believe, just from a storytelling perspective of the worst generation, some of them have to not be great guys. I mean, they're all pirates, so you can make the argument that none of them are good. But if Law is questionable with, like, a good heart, well, no heart. Technically, his heart is in a box right now. But if he's good and Luffy kind of makes him a better person, who's going to be the bad one? Is it Kid? Because right now, it's seeming like Kid. And then where's X-Drake? Where's the other worst generations? We only saw a handful of them. This arc got so interesting towards the end of this volume. He basically puts Luffy and Law and all them outside so they can also get poisoned. And Chopper's there and he wants to do something. But then a note drops. We don't know who's dropped the note. Even by the end of this volume, still don't know who dropped this note. They just said, don't do anything. Even Chopper doesn't know. I don't know. You guys probably know. By the end of this video, hopefully I know. What if it's Ace? He's back. He's not gone. He's back, right? He's always been looking after Luffy. It's Ace, right? Tell me it's Ace. It's Ace. But Zoro, Sanji, and Nami's body, Brook, and the samurai are running through, and Zoro looks at the samurai like, "Hey man, can your sword cut metal?" He's like, "Yeah, no problem." And they both slash down into the laboratory. What they don't realize is because everyone has closed the door to hopefully keep the poisonous gas from reaching them, they have just done it wide open. They do not think ahead. But thankfully all of Caesar's men that he has betrayed at this point have now blocked off the door, and everyone is back together. That's how I know this arc's really about to take place, because even Luffy says all the crew is back together. He's excited, I'm excited. This was one of the perfect middle volumes of an arc, because it has posed so many questions that I cannot wait to find the answers on. So how we leave this volume, everyone is finally back in their own bodies. Smoker is going after Vergo because you do not disrespect the Navy. Luffy is going after the Master Caesar, and all the other Straw Hats are splitting up to basically go rescue the kids. And it was real funny because it was really like a cool splash page. And it's like, Zoro, you need an escort. Because they're supposed to find the kids and lead them to safety. And he has bad direction. And even someone commented, "Hey man, you're going to need an escort." But yeah, like I said, this was a perfect middle volume for an arc. It posed so many questions, and it shows you that there's a bunch of pieces moving in the background, and have been moving in the background for a while in this world of One Piece, because this is one of the most fleshed out worlds I've ever witnessed in fiction, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. But it is set so much up, and I cannot wait to read the next volume, which is volume 69. Nice. Oh, do I make that joke when I turn this camera back on and talk about 69? Do I restrain myself? It's a good question. I guess me and you will both find out. You in a few seconds, and me in probably like 3 hours. Alright, I'm gonna go read volume 69. Nice. This volume has an incredible ending. If you can't tell, I just rolled out of bed, turned on this camera. Because I was actually going to wait until in the morning to record this video, but this ending. Talk about being hyped for another volume. Volume 70 has a lot to talk about. So a lot of stuff happened in this volume. Where to start? Like with the kids and Chopper and Mocha? Mocha, I think. So Chopper is trying to get these kids not addicted to this candy, and he's enlisted Mocha to help him because she has found out what has really been going on. And they are in the biscuits room, and she is running from these kids, and they do a little flashback, right? Of, oh, we're going to be adults together, and we're going to be 20. Like, that's the number that they come up with. And it was a crazy story. Like, I thought with Fishman Island and all the stuff that he was trying to kind of talk about there, at least not this soon, you would get a story like this where this scientist, Master Caesar, is getting these kids addicted to this candy. But then Mocha eats it all for herself. And it's led to us to believe that she doesn't make it. I don't know if in the next volume I hope she makes it, but if she doesn't, that's going to be kind of crazy. But I kind of really liked it because if something really bad happens to her, I mean, she's bleeding from her mouth. Something already bad has happened to her. And all the kids kind of gather around her. And they're looking at her. And they're like, what? She just ate the yummy candy. What's going on? So if she did that on purpose, well, one, to save them from the candy. She obviously did it on purpose. But two, it shows these kids, and she sacrificed herself. And even Chopper says it. She sacrificed herself for you. You idiots. Dummies. They're kids. It's a horrible situation. But if Oda uses that as a way for the kids to realize and kind of break their addiction to this candy, that's incredible storytelling. That is incredible storytelling. Because you just don't see that, especially in what's considered a kid's manga. Like, that's what I meant when Volume 70 has so many things to answer for, and we haven't even gotten to the other 3 big things that happen in this volume that I think Volume 70 really has to answer. But I really do think that all the kids and the Addicted to the Candy storyline was incredible. Super well done. But now that was the sad emotional part. Let's get to the action part, because Zoro did some things, Luffy did some things, Smoker did some things, but Law, let's talk about it. So let's talk about Zoro and Tashigi versus Monet. Man, she even says it, and I said this in the Fishman arc. How strong have these people gotten in this 2 years? Because Zoro and the Dragon Quake. It was so good. It was so good. So Tashigi and Zoro are fighting Monet, and he uses the Dragon Quake, which I just showed you. He doesn't break a sweat. And even she says, besides how strong they have been, Monet really quit battling because she is so scared of what she just witnessed. She is terrified by Zoro. And she kind of gets up and tries to strike him again. And she intervenes and cuts her down. But Zoro's like, hey, you didn't have to do that. Like, if you didn't hit her, I was going to hit her. Like, I was going to cut her down, regardless. She was like, thanks for telling me now. I didn't have to do it. He's like, hey, you did it. I think Zoro is a lot stronger than he's letting on. Another little Zoro-Sanji, because I really like their relationship. Sanji and Zoro kind of split up, and Sanji's going because he's like, hey, I don't hit women. Because they're like, well, what if she's trying to kill you? He's like, I choose death. Never hit a woman. I respect that about you, Sanji. Some of your stuff, cringe. I respect that. He even says, don't worry, he'll handle it. Like Zoro's strong enough. He's fine. Like I said, they might have a butting heads relationship, but they're like brothers in the sense of, like, I can make fun of my brother and poke fun at him. You cannot. He is incredible. I really like their relationship. I hope in the future of One Piece, I hope that they build that relationship, because it's probably one of my favorites in this entire series. And then let's talk about Luffy and Master Caesar's fight. Okay, so they have 2 fights in this volume. Right when the gas is starting to leak in to the lab, Luffy kind of just hits him real quick one time and then kind of struggles. Not struggles, but he hits him and he runs off. But their final, I don't know, maybe there is, I believe that there's going to be another fight with them in Volume 70 to kind of tie this whole arc together. But in their second battle, the last in this volume, you cannot tell me that Luffy has not come back since he's trained 2 years ago with more confidence. He literally grabs one of the guys and he's like, hey, that guy's this way. And he just walks in and, like, Caesar's trying to say something. Boom! He hits him in the face. And again, if you've watched any of my other videos, I love when Luffy just walks into a room and hits a guy that definitely deserves it in the face. But during this fight, we actually learned something incredible, and I think changes a lot about One Piece. So with this sad gas that he has experimented with these kids, they have made fake devil fruits called Smile. And he was even saying, like, emperors or the warlords have already used it to build armies. And that's the whole point. They're manufacturing devil fruits. When I found out about that, and that's one of the reasons that I was like, I can't wait for in the morning to do this video, to like talk to you guys about this. This is the first time that I can remember that we have learned about fake devil fruits. Especially manufacturing en masse fake devil fruits. With that information, and this is a theory that I'm going to put out there, right? And I might be reading too much into it, and I might be crazy, like, this guy is losing his mind. Could be, possible. What if some of the people that we have met with devil fruit powers got them from fake devil fruits? What if this is not the first fake devil fruit with the smile that has been created in the world of One Piece, and we just don't know about it yet? It's pretty interesting, right? Like, I thought that was incredibly interesting. The idea that someone we've already met, maybe someone we know really well, has fake devil fruit powers. I don't think it's gonna be someone we know super well. And I might be just crazy and just, again, reading too much into it. I've been known to do that. But it's so interesting to me that they can manufacture devil fruits in mass to create armies. But what's to say someone we haven't met already along the way has fake devil fruit powers? Listen, Oda's a genius. I could have... If Luffy has fake devil... If Luffy has fake devil fruit powers, that would blow my mind. That would... I mean... Obviously, I'm kind of kidding about that. Like, we know he doesn't. What if he does? Oh, no! But no, I do think that this is not the first fake devil fruit, though. I don't think the smile is the first fake devil fruit. I think there has been some more in the world of One Piece that we just don't know about yet. Hopefully, I'm right, and hopefully we find out about it later on. But having scientists and having, especially with Vergo, and the Navy's not really involved, but he was in the Navy, and having them cover it up, like, that opens the world of possibilities of, like, what if the Navy has something to do with the manufacturing of fake devil fruits? I don't know. Like, it intrigued me so much when I read that part. Like I said, Volume 70, you have a lot to answer for. Do not let me down. And the best fight. It's not even really a fight. Smoker is fighting Vergo and just getting destroyed. And the whole point, because we learned earlier in this volume, because Law tries to fight Vergo and just gets bodied. But that's because Vergo has his heart. Smoker is getting bodied by Vergo. Law comes in. So Law comes in, and he's talking trash to Doflamingo. And he's like, I know you can hear me. And Doflamingo can hear him. He's listening in on transponders now. He's just like, I bet you didn't foresee this nightmare scenario. He brings up, and this is interesting too, Law and Vergo must have had history, because he's like, 2 years ago in, I guess, the Paramount War. I'm trying, again, it's late at night, so maybe I can't grab it, but I'm trying to think of exactly what he was talking about. He's like, I bet you're facing a really mad Vergo, and Vergo is kind of hardened his body. And Law slices him in half. And after he cuts him in half, he does this speech talking about, what are you talking about? You've done nothing but keep, like, the peace and tranquility. No big moves have been played by the big players. Like, Navy maybe has gotten a little bit more powerful. And he goes, like you've always said, a new age is coming. Of, like, the brave and the mighty. And I've just broken all the gears, and there's no turning back now. The war was a prologue. That's how this volume ends. Like, to me, that was an ending of an arc. I mean, it's a cliffhanger. Like, it's a good, like, on TV shows, you get a good season finale. I think I just spit in the camera. I was so excited. I feel like a piece of spit just flew out of my mouth, but I'm very excited right now. And it's late, I'm sorry. But that's a good season finale and, like, cliffhanger part. But we still have, I believe, what I've been told, that this arc ends at chapter 699. So we still have 9 more chapters. What could possibly happen? Oh, does Law face Doflamingo? Like that? I don't know much about Law. We've seen him bits here and there, a little bit throughout before the 2-year time skip and a little bit now in this Punk Hazard arc. We want to talk about coming in strong. When Law got his heart back, he came in incredibly strong. Sliced him right in half. I like his attitude. I like what that kid's doing. Luffy doesn't really talk about it. It has been said before that it's like the worst generation, right? Luffy and Kid and X-Drake and all them. But Law actually puts in motion, like, your age died with Whitebeard. This is the new age. This is the new stuff. And even he says it. I broke all the gears. There's no turning back now. We're in it now. We are here in the new age. Maybe you've heard about it. The worst generation is coming. He comes off so cool. In just these 3 pages, he comes off so cool. But that is what I meant when I turned on this camera and said Volume 70 has a lot to talk about. Because this seemed like the volume that culminated everything that came before previously in this arc. So what could possibly happen in Volume 70? I mean, yes, it doesn't tie everything up, but when I say culmination, like, it just feels like the final battles. Luffy has pretty much defeated Caesar, allegedly, and Law just destroyed Vergo. And yes, the gas is still coming in, but it feels like the kids with Mocha doing her sacrifice, like they've kind of straightened that out, and Chopper and the others are trying to inject them with things to kind of make them better. So it feels like it is winding down. But it's such a weird feeling to feel like it's winding down, but cranking up to 100. It's like you're going and you're not going at the same time. This was a heck of a volume. Volume 69. Again, nice. 69. Why would I make that joke? Dumb. This seemed like a culmination volume, and I am incredibly excited. Again, it's super late at night. I think it's like 12:31 a.m. when I'm shooting this video. But I don't think I'm going to sleep. You might see me at 4 a.m. after I read volume 70. I don't know. But yeah, you might see 4 a.m. me, or you might see tomorrow me. I'm not sure, depending. But either way, I am so excited to read volume 70. So let's finish up the Punk Hazard arc. What an end to an arc that this has been. Oh, like Usopp's little speech in the first chapter of this volume, talking about our captain's not that guy. He is not going to just run away. And that makes us want to like step up and do what we have to do too, because of the way Luffy is. Like that whole little speech he gives to Caesar, because he's like, your captain's running away. He's like, you wish he was that kind of person. Luffy is not that kind of person. Was awesome. I love when these characters give those types of speeches. And then Luffy proceeds to immediately knock him out with the Grizzly Magnum. Oh! Again, I can't reiterate. As you know by now, when Luffy punches people in the face, it's very cool. And I enjoy it. Just when we thought Caesar was defeated, Baby 5 shows up, who her whole body is a weapon. And she's with Buffalo, who he did the spin fruit and his body can rotate. Baby 5 has a really cool design. I like how like her whole, every body is part is a weapon. Like Buffalo and her do this one thing where she turns into a bullet. And Frankie is actually fighting them. And if I haven't mentioned it before, Frankie in his robot form and his General Frankie, like robot costume. Robots are not costume. His suit of armor. Sounds way cooler that way. Costume. I'm sorry. I hope throughout this series he gets cooler and cooler designs. Because he's had like the tank, the General Frankie form, a motorcycle. Frankie, get cooler designs. That's awesome. So one of my favorite chapters of Volume 70 was when Monet was talking to Doflamingo and Luffy and all the kids and everybody are trying to escape. And she is going to blow up the island. Basically sacrificing herself and Caesar. Because, well, actually not Caesar, because he's like, oh, well, Caesar will be the only one that'll be able to survive when the gas explodes. And he's like, yeah, sacrifice yourself for me. I mean, yeah, I guess he is a bad guy. But still. Someone asking, yeah, sacrifice yourself for me. I'm more important than you. And she wants to do it. That's the crazy part, is he has, like, brainwashed her enough to be like, yeah, hit the button. Blow up this entire island. Release the gas, kill everybody for me. And he's talking to her through a transponder snail and basically being like, yeah, thanks for doing everything you do. And Caesar doesn't really know this is going on, so he's thinking, oh, this is it for me. But I still have Smoker's heart, so at least I can take him with me. And he's jabbing it. It looks like with like a ice pick. What we learn, let me preface this by saying, Law in this volume has gone up to, you remember earlier in this video, I believe, I was like, Law might be a bad guy. I don't trust that dude. He's shifty. I trust him. I don't trust him, but I like him. I like him a lot. There's a few things that he does in this volume where I like him a lot. But he stabs the heart. Come to find out, Law, when, I think it was last volume, he gave Caesar, he was like, yeah, here's Smoker's heart. He's like, well, hold on. They ask him, like, why you didn't give him Smoker's heart? He's like, hey, he assumed it was Smoker's heart. We had a deal where I gave him back his, second in command's heart, which is Monet. Caesar kills Monet by stabbing her heart, which Law gave him. What a move. What a move. This is what I like about Law. He's calculating. And there's more in this volume that we're about to get to, but he's a very calculating character. Crazy part that hit me when I was reading this, we haven't had, at least on the Straw Hat side, because they are now in an alliance with him, we haven't really had a calculating character. All of our characters that we follow with the Straw Hats are are great people, but I'm going to be honest with you. Zoro, Luffy, Sanji. I guess Nami and Robin are the closest. There's not a lot of calculations that go involved. But you just feel like Law's playing chess. He's like, I'm going to move this pawn. It's going to take my rook, but I'm taking the queen. He is that guy, and it's so... He's using that brain. And it is so great to see that in a character in One Piece. Another great moment, Nami and Usopp get to shine. You know, Baby Five and Buffalo are given a hard time. And Usopp's like, well, they're running away because they grab Caesar and they're trying to escape with him to go back to Doflamingo. And Usopp's like, oh, leave the enemies that have turned their back to me, the sniper. AKA Sniper King or Soj King, depending on how you read. It says Sniper King in the volume, but you guys have clearly told me that it's Soj King. So the sniper is about to do his job. And I did really like it, because Law, he was like, no, they can't escape. Luffy and Zoro both are like, dude, have faith in us. If you're going to be in an alliance with us, we need a little bit of faith. And Nami even says it too when she steps up. And they do this team attack, where Nami calls down a lightning bolt, and Usopp shoots Meteor Swarm Assault that Usopp shoots after Nami hits him with the lightning bolt. Just seeing those two team up, it's such a odd team up that I don't really think you see too much, but it's cool to see it. And then, they get stopped, and they get Caesar back, and then Law proceeds to, let's just say, Baby Five and Buffalo lose their heads for a while. Oh, Law's real good. I can see him moving on in the ranks unless he does something shifty. Because again, I'm 80% trust. 20%? I don't trust him. 80% though. He's too calculating. I feel like he could play Luffy because Luffy's so trusting. And then we have a really sweet moment when Momo gets reunited with his father from Wano. Well, at first, Brook's like, I have committed murder. And he dropped him because he had went back in to save his son when they were trying to escape the island and got in the gas. So he's frozen. So we are led to believe up until this point that when they are frozen, they are no longer with us. They are dead. They didn't make it. And Brooke's like, oh no, I've dropped him. And everybody's freaking out. And he's shattered, but he's still alive. Because it's more of just like a casing, and it actually takes him a while to die, which towards the end of this volume, towards the end of the arc, Smoker and Brownbeard actually go back and get all his people. And he's like, hey, that is another funny... Brownbeard's like, hey, trust me. Let me do this, and I'll come back and go to jail. And Smoker's like, hey, this is the only way off the island. We know you're going to go back to jail. Don't worry about it. After they get reunited as what seems like has happened multiple times now, and it might just be like Oda's thing. It's the end of an arc, so let's have a party! So Momo doesn't want to eat the food that Sanji has prepared. And he's actually going to waste it. Sanji's like, oh, no, you don't waste food here. We don't waste food. And his father is saying, no, you need to eat. You've been strong. And it's just like this quick little panel. And he's like, we just have to believe that they're all alive and well. They're from Wano. And I've heard Wano mentioned. Do we go see their family or friends? Or are they more important to this story than it seems? Because it also seems like, they could just be one-off characters that happen in this Punk Hazard arc. But at the end of the arc, they're still on the ship with Luffy, Law, and all of those. So are they important? And what happened? Well, who's all alive and well? I want to know this. I need to know this information. Not from you. I just... See, this is hard for me. I want to be like, I want to skip ahead, but I hope we hear about them. I really like those two characters. And Momo, taking a bath with Robin. Sleeping in Nami and Robin's room. And Sanji, his father. And Brooke, man. That kid's playing his age just right. Sanji, they see through it. They're like, we can't even sleep. We're so mad. Oh, they're good characters. I'm glad to have them around for a little longer. I hope their story... I hope we go deeper into their story. So after the feast and everything, they are seeing the children off. And actually Nami has decided that the children need to be with Tashigi and the Navy and brought back to their parents because, if we don't forget, they're still pirates. And a really sweet moment happened that I really enjoyed. Kids are trying to say goodbye to the Strawhats, but the Marines are acting real weird. Like, the Navy's acting really strangely. And they're like, no, you can't look at pirates. They're garbage human beings. And the kids are like, what about, the curly eyebrow guy, the orange lady, where you gotta say goodbye, and they're upset. And Tashigi finally says, stop it. And then we see the Navy turn around and say, we have to talk trash about them, because if we don't keep talking bad about them, we are going to have to admit that we like them. That's the great thing about the Strawhats. Like, anywhere they go, because they're good people. Like, yeah, they might be pirates, and in this world, pirates are designed to be bad human beings. But I just loved that he put that in there. That is such a good moment. Because it proves what I have noticed throughout this series of anywhere Luffy and his crew go. Yeah, they get into some shenanigans. It gets out of hand very quickly sometimes. But everybody likes them. And I love how the Navy was like, we have to keep saying that they're garbage, because if we don't, we'll admit that we like them. I really enjoyed just that little small moment. And then the kids get to say their goodbye, and everybody takes off. With Law and the Straw Hats and that alliance with Caesar and Momo, they're going to Dressrosa. And the kids and Tashigi and the Navy are going back to drop the kids off with their parents. But they do give Luffy a warning. This is the line. You cross it, we're going to we're going to still hunt you, because you're still pirates. And Luffy's like, alright, see you later. I'll see you around. He does not care about them. He's like, nah, don't worry about it. I'm king of the pirates. He enjoys it. He enjoys his life. So to me, that was kind of the end of the Punk Hazard arc. But we still have 2 more chapters, because like you guys have told me, it ends at 699. These last 2 chapters set up so much. Doflamingo enters the picture. He finds the heads of Baby 5 and Buffalo with a Law transponder snail sitting there. And Law's like, let's make a deal. Doflamingo's like, yeah, you're playing a grown-ups game. But again, Law is so calculated. He's like, I got you figured out. I want you to quit the Warlords. I need to see it in the newspaper tomorrow morning. If not, we're going to have issues. Because that's the whole thing with Kato and the fake devil fruits, the smile. Like, Doflamingo's whole thing that he's built up in Dressrosa has been revolving around that. And Law's whole thing is if you quit the Warlords, they won't turn a blind eye to you anymore. He's kind of pushed him into a corner. And he's like, hey, you got till tomorrow's news. It's got to scream, Doflamingo quits the Warlords. Backed Doflamingo into a corner, and oh, man! Does Doflamingo get mad? He is furious. Furious! So he's flying back to put the heads basically back onto Buffalo and Baby Five's bodies. And that's when we run into like Smokers, letting Brownbeard get all his people back. Doflamingo attacks Smoker and just bodies him. Like, Smoker doesn't stand a chance. But a hero arrives. Man comes behind him like, hey man, excuse me. Aokiji's here. And Aokiji bodies Doflamingo immediately. Well, Doflamingo would not say that, but he's like, I don't even want to fight you. You know how like you run into like a bigger person, you're like they would really mess me up. No. This is my decision. I don't want to fight you. That's the thing. I could beat you. I don't want to fight you. That is a lie. That's an outright lie. So Doflamingo takes off in a fit of rage that Law has backed him into a corner. And Aokiji and Smoker kind of have a conversation. And through that conversation, Smoker... Because Aokiji's he's like, you're no wanderer. Because he's just kind of wandering ever since Akainu and Aokiji had that battle to... I think they were trying to decide who was going to be the new head of the Navy? Let me know in the comments. I feel like I'm wrong about that. The Battle of Punk Hazard. Off the top of my head, I cannot think of it right now. Because again, I ran up. It's early in the morning. As you can see, there's sun coming in. OnePiece is getting really good. You might see more and more of these videos quicker and quicker. Because it's usually like every 2 weeks. It's gonna be more. It's gonna be quicker than that. Pieces are getting moved on this game board and stuff. Dressrosa, I feel like it's gonna be awesome. The one thing that I want to point out that Smoker said was, you saw the look on his face. That's a face of a man who's made up his mind about something. Aokiji knows something, or has found out something, or has accepted something, and that's why he's become kind of like this nomad. So I really, on top of I think the battle would look awesome, I really want to see this battle that happened at Punk Hazard between them two. If it's not in the manga or in the TV show, is it in a movie? Let me know. Because I really want to see this. Really, really badly. And then at chapter 699, the final chapter of the Punk Hazard arc, we get to see the newspaper, and Doflamingo has quit the Warlords. But also on that paper, Law and the Strawhats have formed an alliance. But also on that paper, Kid, Apu, and Hawkins have formed an alliance. And then it kind of cuts to like random people reading the paper like, something's going on out there in the new world. Because we got people quitting the Warlords, alliances forming left and right. So now everybody knows. It's been in the paper, it's been known that Law and Luffy have teamed up. And then Kid, Apu, and Hawkins have teamed up. And even Law, because Luffy's like, what do they do? They're also teaming up. This is awesome. And Law's just like, just let them do their thing. That's not what we're, because he's focused on his mission. Like I said, he's a mastermind. And so since that happened, the final page of this chapter is Law trying to call Doflamingo, and Doflamingo hangs up. Doesn't even answer the phone. I think this arc had a lot of great moments, a lot of great battles. I actually do like, because I liked Impel Down a lot too. I like when they're in an enclosed space. Like, a lot of this arc took place in the lab, and when they're doing battles, it's like, okay, Luffy's here, Zoro's here. I really like that stuff. It reminds me of The Raid. Seen the movie The Raid? The Raid is good. But I think this arc had a lot of great moments. But I also think this is an arc that is a setup arc. It has set up Wano. It has set up Doflamingo. It has set up the alliances. And it has set up this Kaido, the King of the Beast, and Dressrosa. It has set up like 5 different things. And it set up the fake devil fruit. The smile. It set up 6 things. In like 50 chapters. So like every 7 chapters it was setting up something new. So for that, I think this arc was fun because One Piece is just fun to read in general. And I do like that Nami and Usopp got their moments. Like, again, overall, this arc was really good, really fun to read. But you have no idea the levels of excitement I am for the next arc, Volume 71. I believe the arc's called Dressrosa. I'm not sure. Again, as always, let me know down in the comments how many chapters this arc is. The excitement I have for this. I think Doflamingo is a great, villain. I think Law is a great addition character. I'm not going to say hero. I don't think he's part of the Straw Hats. I'm shifty about that guy. I'm saying it. I'm calling it now. Let's go back to this video and watch when I get to the part that I turncoats. But he's so cool. He's so cool. He is the Han Solo of the Straw Hats. But yeah, that is it for this arc. I cannot wait for the next arc. I think this arc was fun, but I think the next arc I am incredibly excited about. Like, I'm gonna turn off this camera. I should edit this video. I'm probably gonna read a little bit more One Piece. Like, a little bit more One Piece never hurt anybody. A few more chapters will be fine. Yeah, as always, I hope you enjoyed the video. I really appreciate all the support these videos get and following me on this journey through One Piece. It has gotten better and better and better and better. It's so fun. Like, I realized this when I read this volume. This is such a fun read, and it's crazy to think that we're 700 chapters in, and it's been a steady incline, in my personal opinion. Better and better and better and better. Like, I'm kind of waiting for it to drop a little bit. It hasn't dropped in a good long time. Thank you, as always. I really hope you enjoyed it. I appreciate you guys so much, and yeah. I'll see you next time.